Today's episode, we are going to be talking about living in the present, or like we say in our book, the present. This is yet again one of the deepest conversations we'll have. We traveled far to get here just to communicate this to you because it is one of the things that is lacking most, more than likely in your life, and that is being present in every moment, knowing that is impacting your future. Today we're talking about living in the present, and I'm so grateful that you decided to stick around because there's so much that has taken place since the last time you saw us. Yvana, you just got back from New York.
I did.
The stuff that was going on.
Major phenomenons. Like what?
Eclipse.
Natural disasters.
Yeah.
Natural
Earthquake
phenomenons.
in New York.
Yes.
You said there was like riots?
Yes. There were rioters and protesters where I was speaking. I mean, people were getting punched in the throat as they were walking.
Oh, that's sad.
Yeah, this was serious.
We've been seeing that too.
Oh, yeah.
You know, that's interesting. This is not funny, but it is a good thing to say, especially because we're talking about living in the present. Right. But as we say in our book, the present.
Yeah.
But in New York and across the world, there are these atrocities that are happening. Yes, there are. I don't want to compare them to any other atrocity that may be a little more major, if you want to use those words. But people, keep your eyes open wherever you are. Keep your head up. Be mindful that because you're used to being in your phone or in your own world, that you still live in a world with a lot of people in it. And a lot of people are finding themselves being attacked, assaulted, hurt, women especially, being struck in the face for doing nothing more than not paying attention. Yeah. So I'm saying that it is not right, but I am saying that you do have the potential to be present. And my wife and I both, we have friends in special forces. I train in Krav Maga, and it's one of the first things we learn is no matter where you are, you need to have yourself be present. Assess everything around you and everyone around you. I just thought that'd be a great point to make because our care is for you and we want to see you all safe.
Yeah.
But again, still crazy though. And it's funny because of the eclipse. Did you see it?
I did.
That's
I did.
incredible.
It was really cool. In New York, it was very interesting because most of the time people get the impression that New York is very rude, very direct, very aggressive. It's not wrong. But I will say...
I was going to see where you were going with that one.
I'm a New Yorker, I know. But here's the thing. They're focused. They are living in the present time that they have, and they know that it runs short.
New York
and they
minute.
know that the metro runs short. If you're late, you're late, and you're late to work, and that can ruin the whole day, right?
Tempers run short.
Of course. Yeah. But here's the thing about it. It was so beautiful because when I walked outside to see the eclipse, it became a community. Like back in the day, we used to have block parties, and for all the people up north that used to know what that means, it was one of my favorite childhood memories to go outside, to have the ice cream guy, the guy with the ices, and just be a part of community, you know, playing loud music. So this time, watching an eclipse brought people together in ways that I never imagined.
Yeah.
I didn't have the glasses. I wasn't going to look into the sun. Or the moon.
Well, I'm blind as it is without contact glasses.
I didn't have the glasses, but there was a woman that was literally
You didn't have the glasses? Out. Oh, okay.
That's what I'm trying to say. Give me a minute.
Well, it sounded like you kept saying,
give me a minute.
All right, go ahead.
The woman was passing out glasses, and I was borrowing one from a child. But here's the thing about it. It taught me a moment, actually, now I think about it, about how to live in the present moment and be grateful. I was grateful to look around and see all different ethnicities and cultures looking at this natural phenomenon happen. And I kept thinking like, wow, people are more benevolent. People are more kind right now. People are more gentle because we're all watching this thing
that you can't control.
Exactly.
And that's what it really comes down to, though.
That you can't control.
Yeah. And
literally.
I think that's interesting because there are things you can control.
Of course.
And I think
like your attitude, your disposition.
I think that's also why it's important to talk about the present.
Right.
To genuinely be present in any moment so that you can be aware and that you can take into your control what you can.
Correct.
What you can't, you can't. But there are some things that we often think are uncontrollables or unexpected.
Right.
things that happen in our life.
Right.
But they're actually things that we did control.
Yeah.
And we present them into our present. In our book, we talk about living the present.
Yeah.
Because if life is indeed a gift, then that means it's a present.
Yeah.
And your present, just like any other gift, has to be given. So that means it's sent.
Correct.
So you present the present that you are presently experiencing.
Right.
And we even state this in our book. Well, we hope you like your gift. Because a lot of times what we will do is we will blame the circumstance, we'll blame our surroundings, but it really is us.
Yeah.
And our lack of being aware just how important the present moment is, because we're influencing the future that we will yet call present.
Yeah, that's pretty good. And it reminds me of how many people don't live in the present.
Sure.
They don't live in the gift of today. They look for, some people are still stuck in the past, so they really can't accept the present of today.
Yeah.
And some people look so far to the future that they are predicting their present. They have no idea what it could be.
Sure.
You can plan all day long to have an event. You can plan all day long to have certain things, even with stocks and investments.
Yeah, it happens.
And then once something happens that changes the trajectory of what you thought, your expectations, that is a hard place for someone to say, yeah, I'm just okay living in the present.
Yeah.
Some people are not. And I think that's very difficult, but I also think there's a solution to that.
Well, sure.
And we'll talk about it a little bit more, but one of the beautiful things that I've started to do was take note of every single thing that I should be grateful for.
Sure.
When I look at colors, I'm so grateful. There are people that are blind.
Yeah.
When I hear you, I'm so grateful because I can hear.
Sure.
And so I think the constant state of gratitude is also something that people have a hard time, especially now, all the pressure, all the frustrations and the need to perform and the need to be successful versus failure. It's like a weight on people's heart, mind, and soul that don't allow them to live in the present, you know?
And it's also misaligned desires. Because what happens is we are desiring something that typically isn't even our narrative.
Correct.
We live in a culture that presents to us narratives that belong to other people.
Come on.
The scariest part is that we start to see what's presented to us and accept it as our own. And so we don't even know what the present moment for ourselves looks like.
Correct.
And I'm grateful for what you said in saying that is true, because I was just talking to a friend of mine about the very same thing. It has been my practice, I could probably say for the last couple of years, I would almost call it religious, that I have been grateful. It's in my journal. You've seen my daily, when I'm writing my tasks for every day at the end, it's not just did I win, I'm writing what I'm grateful for.
Come on.
I think that is one of the first tools that many of you have heard over and over again, but I have to ask you, are you intentionally taking time to say thank you?
Come on.
We believe thanking God because we really believe that He is that benevolent. Even in the hard times, there are yet ways of escape. There are positives that can be extracted that will help us in the future present.
Correct.
But being grateful, like Coach Yvana just said, for the fact that you have the ability to see the things that are driving you crazy, that you have the ability to hear the things that just send you over the edge.
Correct.
But being present sometimes takes strategies. And I think that's the next point that we wanted to make. And that was what I was hoping we would get to very quickly, is that there are strategies. Yes, you may plan, because if you don't plan, you're literally planning to fail.
Correct.
But just because it doesn't go the way the plan was meant to go doesn't mean that you don't have the opportunity to adjust.
Yeah,
the second strategy, not just being grateful, is also called agility. Being able to make moves based upon the response or the circumstances that occur.
Yeah, that's right.
How would you speak to someone listening about being agile, whether it's in mind, spirit, and even body?
For sure. First, look at what's hindering you from getting to that agility point. I think when you start looking at the obstacles that could be present, that are present in one's life, then you start to understand, okay, this is the reality of what I'm in. Now you start to think, I need support. I need a group, a community, or I need a coach or someone that can help see my blind sides and my obstacles and help me surmount past them. Because I've got to move forward, or else time is just going to continue to leave me. And time waits for nobody.
Waits for no one. That's right.
And so I think when it comes to agility, being a former athlete, we know about agility drills.
Yeah, that's right.
You hate them when you're doing them. They hurt so bad. But the beauty behind it is every single intricacy of doing a technical drill
Sure.
and being able to perform with momentum and movement. That is something that a daily practice of it, you have
Yeah.
no idea how that affects the race,
That's right.
how that affects your performance.
Sure.
So when I think about the one that is trying to figure out, okay, so how can I be agile when I'm stuck? How can I be agile when I'm depressed or disappointed or
Sure.
frustrated, And I would say first, start to really take back the scales of fear, the scales of failure, the scales and the pain of what you're going through,
Sure.
and look at it from a lens of, but I'm still grateful.
Sure.
I'm still grateful. And then once you move forward in that gratitude, start looking at, okay, what do I need to move myself even faster so I can accomplish this? Do I need less screen time on Instagram?
Sure.
Simple things.
Yeah.
Do I need to be more focused and fixated when I'm at work as opposed to being a silent quitter?
That's being present. Absolutely.
Come
being
on.
present.
These
engagement.
are different. Exactly. Engagement, but in the right engagement,
Yeah.
right? So I would do a self-evaluation first, if that makes sense. Self-evaluate. What in the world is keeping me from moving even faster?
But I would also add to imagination. Because honestly speaking, what we're talking about, the reason why most people can't live in the present is because their mind is elsewhere.
Yeah.
Just like you said, whether it be in the past,
Of course.
or too far in the future.
Exactly.
The reality of it is that we're painting pictures.
Yeah.
I would challenge you to start creating again in your own mind. Here's what I mean. There's a statement that I love. I've fallen in love with it. It is by Joshua Selman. He's an incredible minister. He is literally becoming a voice around the entire world for how he speaks and the wisdom that he carries. But he made one statement that changed the way I see almost everything. He said, you don't have the right to complain about a day that you didn't speak into.
Yeah. Yeah. That's so deep.
If you don't start your day
That right there.
speaking
Come on.
with gratitude, speaking, intentionality,
Yeah.
most of us wake up in the morning and we're already responding.
Yeah. That's right.
We're responding to things that we haven't even seen yet.
Yeah. That's
There are many of us, and I'll even say it to you directly, who are waking up every morning and the first thing that's on your mind is everything that's on your mind.
Correct.
Instead of for 1 second getting present and saying, I have control over my mind.
Come on.
First.
Yeah.
And those things, they get responded to only when I respond to them. Not when I am not.
That's a choice.
There.
That's a choice.
But it starts in the imagination.
Correct.
Because we create fires and try to put them out, and we're not even in the vicinity of the fire at all.
Come on. I was just reading a story in the Bible about David. The beauty behind David is, yes, he's messed up. Yes, he sinned, but he was one of the greatest to do every single thing that God wanted him to do with his talents. And when you raise up nations, when you're coming against opposition, when you're finding ways to increase your fortitude during battle and still be victorious despite all those things, the grace is there. But watch what I learned. In the beginning of David's day, he talks about how he wakes up at dawn and commands the morning.
Yeah.
Commands the morning. The authority that we have, now that's a story of a leader. Let's break it down. A story of a leader who has surmounted every single thing he possibly could have touched, period. And when he won, when you go back, if you look at what he wrote, he started winning from the beginning.
Yeah.
He started winning from the moment he said, you know what, today is going to be the day of battle.
Yeah.
I'm winning. I need your help, God. And so I think you can couple two things.
Sure.
How you start the morning,
Yep.
commanding the morning with that, how you start it,
Okay.
and then asking for the right support.
Right.
He asked God, he asked someone bigger than himself for the opportunity to be victorious. And so I think that when we wake up, like let's say this morning, it was like an okay morning. Okay, I have to go back into the routine. But there's a moment where we can make a choice to slow down. We talk about momentum and agility, but even the moment you wake up, slow down. Start to think about what you're grateful for in the present. And then also start to think about, now, what do I need with this gratitude to be able to leverage what I'm doing in life right now?
Okay.
I think that attaining short-term goals, just like that, can transcend the whole day in an instant.
Sure.
And I didn't always command my morning, I'll be honest. I would wake up and just like, okay, gotta go run, gotta take care of this, but those got tos don't necessarily mean that they need to be in my day.
Mm-hmm.
The very beginning of my day, I'll never forget sitting there and journaling and writing out what I was grateful for the past day. And I remember smiling naturally. I
Mm-hmm.
remember feeling like a lift off my chest,
Sure.
the pressure of like, okay, I got to wake up. I got to make sure this is done. But I don't really have to. What I need to do is be responsible for that moment.
Mm-hmm.
What I need to be is responsible for the present moment that I've been given, to just say, thank you, God, to just wake up and say, you know what? I'm so grateful. If nothing else goes my way, I'm grateful I'm alive, because we see how fast life can be taken away.
Yeah.
And it makes sense to just start differently
Yeah.
and command your morning, because the authority is in the tongue.
I believe that. But I also believe it's important to be present with the people that are in
Of
your
course.
vicinity.
Of course.
And this is a very, very important thing to state, because I think all of us, if we're being honest, could do a little bit better in this area. Speaking to myself even. A lot of times, because of the way we live and the way life has programmed us, we will focus on all the tasks, the goals, the vision. I got to get this done. I'm grinding. I'm a go-getter. But the person that you are waking up next to hasn't experienced you presently for months, sometimes even years.
Mm-hmm.
I'm saying this because we have to be mindful that in every moment, if a person is in your vicinity, they are part of the present.
Of course. That's right.
But watch this. They're also part of the present.
Yeah.
Sometimes the things that you want to accomplish and achieve, the things that are on your mind to do, won't get done because you did not respect the one. You have to remember that the most important thing for you in any moment, if it involves people you love and care about, or say that you love and you care about, is to show them that in that present moment, they're the only thing that matters. And you can do it in so many unique ways. It doesn't mean to disregard what you have to get done for your day. I'm simply saying, let that person know that you acknowledge their presence. We talk about gratitude and we talk about commanding the morning, but what if you just tell the person that is in your circle, even in your job? What if you looked at the person that comes to you in the morning, and instead of getting upset that they came to you at all, just say, I'm so glad you're here today. How are you today? That 5 or 10 seconds can change the outcome of the rest of their day and even yours. So I'm saying this straight to you because I think we're losing touch and we're losing sensitivity, that people are the things that need us most. And they're the reason why we dedicate our lives to do the things that we say we're after doing anyway. You can accomplish anything and everything you want to, but if you by yourself, kind of like the old Cajun joke, you'll be the loneliest bayou in Louisiana. By yourself. It's a terrible joke. I got it from a real Cajun. But I just wanted to challenge you on that, because that is also the essence of being present. Because what happens is oftentimes we look back on the relationships that we didn't hold dear, and when they're gone, we present their absence. Just a thought.
Yeah, it reminds me of, in our book on page 138, the impact that we have is not only in our mind, but it's through our tongue. And everything that he's saying, it's the moment that you can choose to presend a moment of gratitude, a moment of acknowledgement. And when I think about how you can push beyond the limit and require yourself to imagine a moment, that's powerful. Visualization is not only a technique, but it's a principle. And so as a man thinketh, so is he, right? So when you think, you become. Mm-hmm. Watch this. You can have impact in one lifetime. And to see beyond it, let's think about this. Whatever is true, whatever wins respect, whatever is just, whatever is pure, whatever is lovable, whatever is of good rapport, if there be any virtue or anything regarding worthy of praise, cherish the thought of these things. So when you think about your limit, when you think about the imagination, when you think about visualization, it all starts with you. You have got to be the one. We can't make excuses anymore.
That's right.
We can't come here and act like we're the victim. You command your day. There's things, yes, we know, that are unforeseen and you did not expect. like that moment to have happened. But here's the beauty of it. You can still meditate on what is true.
That's right.
You can still come back and win the respect of even yourself to say, you know what? I'm going to do and think justly about this situation.
That's right.
It's very difficult. You're not talking to people that are not professionals.
Yeah.
These are practiced people that have
steadily practicing.
that have made intention to be professional in what we do for our lives, mind, body, soul, and spirit. So when I think about that, the impulse is when you wake up, you go right in. When you wake up, you get on the phone and scroll.
That's right.
I walked my client through a series of weeks and months on how to detox the impulse of even wanting to touch social media, as opposed to saying there, meditating, I'm grateful, going outside, taking in the air, getting fresh air before you go into a cubicle all day, and then walking outside and feeling every single moment around you. If it's the birds, you can feel that. The sound travels and sound is light. So when you think of these things, how can you illuminate your morning?
Yeah.
The sun is shining, and there's other places where the sun's not shining, like London.
But, rain and cold.
Of course. But the sun could also be within you.
That's right, because you have the light.
And as light bearers, you have to make a choice.
That's right.
You have to make a choice. So I think that we have the revelation of you having to make a choice. We have the implementation of, now that I made my choice, this is how I'm going to do it. I'm going to do it justly. I'm going to do it with love. I'm going to do it with gratitude. And then what if something happens that bumps you way off course in your day?
That's right.
What do you say to that person?
If something bumps you, we kind of spoke about it briefly, and that is about being agile. And I wanted to say this because this is a great point to make, especially as we close today's episode. Sometimes the things that shift may be a notification that you need to shift to. We talked a lot about being present. We talked a lot about presenting. We talked a lot about presending. But sometimes, just being honest, the best move you can make is to actually get yourself out of the situation. And I don't mean like I'm looking for an escape. I mean, it may be to protect and preserve your mindset, your imagination, the way you think. You may have to extract yourself. So what if agility for you may mean, if this is not a great environment, if I am not being supported, if I'm not being seen, if I'm not being heard, if this is potentially damaging or detrimental, then I must remove myself. Here's what I want to say in a very simple statement. I listened to Stephen Furtick, an incredible preacher, once gave a message talking about the lateral pass. And he spoke about the reality of football as the analogy. Oftentimes, for any of you who know anything about football, there is a point where a pass must be made, but it is not in the direction of the end zone, but to the sideline. It is lateral so that a person can have space to then make moves. Sometimes things happen in your life, circumstances come that you can't expect in order for you to then be repositioned. You have to be grateful for the repositioning and then ask, what is it in this that I have to learn, or what is it in this that I can draw from within myself to do that will help me get to where I wanted to go, bring about what I needed to bring about, but cause the least amount of damage for me and for others involved. That would be the first thing I would say to anyone who needs to ask themselves, how can they be more agile?
That is a good one. And even in using sports terminology, it still is applicable to anybody, to anyone. And I want to encourage you to really take a glance and really do the work introspectively to either, you're going to have to either rebuke or chasten yourself, which means to correct yourself and make you also repent. You can turn opposite of the way that you've been heading. If this is a time where you've been doing your morning or going about your day incorrectly, I think forgiveness is so beautiful because it can literally cover a thing. What a great word.
Go ahead, Coach.
It can cover a thing. And I believe that there are moments where we are held accountable for our days.
I agree.
I also believe that in being held accountable, you can make the choice to say to yourself No matter what happens today, I'm going to be grateful. No matter what happens today, I'm going to honor her. I'm going to respect him. I'm going to honor my leader. I'm going to do something new for somebody today. Like how
That's
many
right.
times we go through the
That's
same
right.
routines, seeing the needy on the street, seeing the oppressed around
Finish
us,
that up,
seeing
Coach.
the others that are just waiting, destitute, they're alone. And all they needed was a hi. I don't care how shy you are. It could be a smile.
That's right. Instead of
Smiles mean
looking
so
at
much
them
more.
smug.
And smiles are also contagious.
That's right.
Smile is a superpower, I think. And so when you think about small things, very small things, the greatest CEO, the multimillionaire, the person with the yacht, those are small things that they can do too. This is not just for the person that doesn't have it all.
Absolutely. That's right.
Forget success on that scale.
Yeah, if you're
Let's
not
talk about
succeeding
succeeding
at
in the
life.
day. Let's
Yeah,
talk about
that's
succeeding
right.
in the family. Let's talk about succeeding in your friendships, with your associates. Succeed better.
Yeah.
Succeed better. And also make your move the way you intentionally want it to go.
That's
So
right.
if you were to look at tomorrow, not focus on tomorrow, but
That's
if you
right.
looked at tomorrow and you were like, okay, did I make that move correctly?
That's right.
Did I, number one, start off the morning with commanding it?
Yeah.
What I expect from today, how I want this to be delivered, what I'm going to do to work to get to that goal. Then also, I'm grateful for this, I'm grateful for that, I'm grateful for that. Move on. Go into the day knowing that you've already set yourself up for the win.
Yeah.
That's your play, coach. Like, that's it.
Yeah.
You're the athlete and the coach at the same time. So you've got to make your move. But when you make your move, know that there's always grace to cover, okay? You can make a move and a misstep happens, and some people will freak out. This did not go as planned, but know that even as you make your move, think about when tomorrow hits, did I do everything I possibly could have that I could control in a greater way?
That's right.
Yes or no?
I love it.
Simple.
I love it. And before you go, I just want to piggyback on that because that was such a beautiful point. Some of us are struggling in the areas of our lives where we need momentum most because we're waiting on everyone to give to us and we haven't been giving to anyone else. Intentionally give, one of my favorite scriptures, give and it will come back to you.
Yeah.
Good measure,
Press
not
down.
just a little bit, good measure. Pressed down, shaken together, and running over, watch this, shall others give to you. And that is an analogy on leaves in a bag. When you put leaves in a bag after raking them, you press them down, shake it, and you have room for more until it's running over. So I hope that encourages you today. We're so grateful. Thank you for spending time with us. We've been traveling so much. You could probably see it on our faces. We've been working hard, diligently trying our best to inspire and give courage to anyone and everyone who will let us do it for them. Yeah. So I want to encourage you today, if you are inspired by anything we've said today, leave comments, hit that subscribe, share, but think about bringing us before your team. We are keynote speakers and presenters. We have seminars that we can bring to any platform where we can help your team find courage, inspiration, see beyond where they are in their position and find a unique purpose that will propel not only them, but you and your company forward. I would love to have a chat with you, and I know Coach Yvana would do the same. Check us out online, our website, aspirehigherlife.com. Find out more or schedule us, and we will love to have a communication moment with you. All right. Thank you, Coach Yvana. Great job. We made it. We did a great job. Great points. Proud of you.